Hello everyone, welcome to the Warzone. I'm Scruffy and this is Scruffy Tales. And I'm back out and about. I get the crap computer, laptop, crap audio and everything. You're gonna have to deal with it, and we're gonna take a look at the front line from Tevkino down to Zaporizhia. And well, the key main thing is that Pokrovsk holds. That is, of course, extremely important. Good morning, everyone. Early morning hours. We're gonna take a quick look at the front line. I'm back on the road again. So we got crap laptop and audio. It is what it is. We're moving in. Important updates up in Tino and Sumio Oblast. Tino, as we can see, Russia has counterattacked in the Vasylivka area and pushed Ukraine out by all accounts, according to Andrew Perpetua, that is. And we can also see Ukraine bombarding the factory once again. Once more indicating that Russia is more than likely pushed into the factory, since Ukraine is aiming more and more airstrikes at the factory itself. And if we go back a day or two, let's see here if we can get the maps to update. Of course we can't. Here we go. You can see massive Ukrainian airstrikes in and around the fortified cemetery. And I was curious, was this an indication that Ukraine was trying to push out? But I do believe, with everything else going on, this is an indication that we have massive amount of Russians in the area. Interesting though is that, as been pointed out before, Ukraine has the ability to launch airstrikes often and accurately in this area, which the Russian ground forces are incredibly annoyed by. So once again, evidence that we have air parity for Ukraine in the area. If we move to Mayakovsk 73's map and zooming in, his interpretation of events is the following: that Russia is indeed back in control of much of Tetkino, even though he still has this part over here contested. So the maps differ a bit, but we do have Russia pushing down here. If we move ahead a bit, as you can see, securing their own territory, and well, Ukraine is launching airstrikes all over the place, probably to force the Russians back as they're trying to push in on these last Ukrainian positions. Moving over to Sumy Oblast, Kindratkivka is now well and truly in complete control of Ukraine. This last pocket of Russian resistance could not hold on as we predicted, and Kindratkivka is now liberated, which means Ukraine has the chance to push up along the legs here, which are the only positions Russia is able to defend. As you can see, everything else is just open farmland. So in these lakes is where, or around these lakes is where Russia is located. If Ukraine can push up into this territory, that means a lot of positions south here of the lakes where Russia is hiding will be cut off as well. So Ukraine now has a chance to reclaim more territory, since Russia is stuck in these narrow passages, this one windbreak here and this valley here. So can Ukraine push up here? Interesting. It will isolate a lot of Russian positions. We see Russia pushing into Varochne. We have flags waving in Varochne, I believe. There you go, Russian flag in Varochne. And stuff like that. We can see here Ukrainian shelling south of the main street, the main highway that cuts through town. This used to be Ukrainian territory, and we can see that Russia apparently is pushing south here into this territory here. They already pushed into these woods and the windbreak over here in the west, and now there seems to be a push on the east. I thought the push would continue here. Seems they decided to move down to the east of town. Rain's coming in now. What else we got? Important updates further south at Kipansk. Take a look. Big push by the Russians. Started here on the 24th, pushing out towards the edges of Kipansk and continues up this way. So I'm thinking they want to push down through Kindrashivka to link up with everything going on here to threaten Kupiansk properly. We got them rains coming in, like I said. A bit old, a couple of days old now. This here, Ukraine pushing Russia back, securing Kharkivka, moving in Ridkudub. Meanwhile, we have Russians expanding the contested territory at Kharkiv, but we also have wasn't it here that we saw? Yeah, down here. Here you can see Ukraine securing Serebryanka, pushing the Russians back in the outskirts of this town. Lots of artillery shelling going on. Let's see here. And it appears as if Russia has finally taken Yablonivka, pushing in, placing flags. It took them a good while enough. And this was a costly battle for the Russians. And the Ukrainians made the Russians pay dearly for every square inch taken. Now to the important bits. Pokrovsk. The push north towards the supply line has not expanded. We don't see any more Russian confirmed territory, meaning that yes, we might have pockets of Russians up here, but Ukrainian defenses at Mayak and in the valley here might be holding, making it difficult for Russia to push up this way. We had some fortified hills at Mayak that Russia may not have been able to push in and secure. The valley over here is fortified as well, more than likely, or according to other maps that point out where defenses are. So Russia might have made an initial push, maybe with motorbikes, to quickly bypass Ukrainian positions, drop people off here and there. But beyond that, we're not seeing any indication that Russia is securing the territory here. It's been like this for several days now. Same thing with Razine. The Ukrainian push into Razine, we saw a couple of days of Russian drone strikes in Razine. Hasn't ended up on many of the maps, so it's unclear. Did Russia make a counterattack and secure it again? I mean, that is very likely. Further south, Mykolaiv, Russia is pushing here. Ukraine made a counterattack, but now we're seeing Russian flags in Novoekonomicha. Russia is moving in, crossing the river and securing the town here. So they are now on the outskirts of Mirnorad. The push into the outskirts of Poptos is interesting. If we go back here, here we can see, take a look at all the artillery, but the artillery strikes over here is interesting because this is where Ukraine can push in and reach the Russians, as it were. So I'm thinking this is Russia launching strikes to isolate the Ukrainians here, so you can't move in as many reinforcements as you like, and that should give the Russians over here a chance to push on into this area. Otherwise, if they were so that's what I'm thinking. If they wanted to attack here with artillery in preparation of a strike, then they would, right? So this is more than likely with the intent to cut the Ukrainians off and isolate them here to allow a push into this part of town. Same thing here. This is a narrow stretch where the Ukrainians can move in. We see airstrikes, drone strikes to hunt them down as they're pushing in and isolating the forces in Leon Tvochi, or whatever it's called. That allows the Russians to potentially push up along the lake here. So that is what I think happened there. But the assault has slowed down a bit. The Russians are currently in Sverova trying to isolate or secure Sverova. You can see here Russian drone strike. So maybe we saw Ukrainians coming in here, Russia attacking, and today they're attacking down here instead, as the Ukrainians have moved in to assault from the north. So that is basically it. The push over here has slowed down a bit. You can see that Russia is trying to isolate this pocket when they're pushing it this way. You can see it more on deep state. If we move down, here you can see how they came across, and since then not much has happened. They finally ran into Ukrainian fortified defensive positions after this initial push into the more open spaces here. Now they're trying to come down here and to isolate this pocket. If we go back a couple of days here, here you can see how they're trying to create a pocket here and isolate it, but they're struggling with advancing after those initial successes here. Now they run into proper defensive lines and everything is slowed down. And again, the push north towards the logistics, no indication that Russia has a secure foothold. They are struggling with Mayak and Nikanarivke, the defensive lines here, and they can't push up as much as they would like, because in between the lakes and this fortified hill, they're probably getting just cut to ribbons as they're trying to push up to secure their positions. Mayakovsk 73 has this as Ukrainian. I mean, this has probably been Ukrainian all along, right? Would be my guess. So this is no major changes on the battlefield in my book. It's been like that all along. Not much happening at Milove or that Russian push at Vovchansk. Where the hell is it here? This remains the same as it's been for a couple of days. This push has calmed down. Here you can see that big push north of Kipansk. The question is, can they push down and isolate the town? Because they know if they get stuck in Kupiansk, it's gonna be a tough fight, just as Poptos. And yeah, it's basically the same all along the front line. Russia pushing into Yublanivka, and goddamn dog, and quiet. And here you can see again, Russia is not securing territory up to the supply line here. Russia slowly pushing into Svirove, contesting territory deep, fair distance into the suburbs. And down here trying to create this pocket that they can isolate and push the Ukrainians back. And is there any changes over here? No, according to Mayakovsk 73, the Russians have been pushed back. It's contested. What does Deep State say about this situation? Here goes Zaporizhia. The Deep State still has Russians in control of territory. What does Andrew say? Well, Ukrainian drone strikes. And let's see here. What's this? Russia's pushing out this way instead into town after having met heavy resistance by the previous coastline. If we zoom out a bit here, let's see here if it updates. No, it doesn't. Is it on this map? There you go. You can see here, this is the reality, but if we zoom in, it becomes that big lake again, but this is what it looks like. So the previous coastline is where Russia is trying to advance in this area right here, and Ukraine has pushed the Russians back, and they're right now down by the former coastline, and Russia seems to have shifted to assaulting into the town instead. Interesting numbers that we need to remember. In and around Poptos, Russia has a 5-to-1 advantage in this area, as they should have. That is what you need, or needed, before drones became a thing, to assault trench. That was like, you know, the guideline. 5-to-1 when you're assaulting prepared defenses like trenches. With drones, I wouldn't surprise me if we're up to 10-1. I mean, we've seen the footage how easy it is to hunt down assault forces approaching trenches with drones. So they have a 5-1 advantage, but within urban areas, the guideline is you need a 10-1 advantage based on 100 years of modern warfare. So the question is, has Russia enough manpower to eventually push into the Mirnorad and Pokrovsk if they only have a 5-1 advantage? And how will that affect the rest of the front line if they need to allocate so much manpower to these cities? Because pre-drone warfare it was 10-1, with drones hunting down specific rooms where people are hiding in and stuff like that. I mean, it could be that you need 20-1 or 30-1 to win any given firefight in Pokrovsk and Mirnorad. The question is, how will it affect the front line when it's time for Russia to push into Poptos and Mirnorad proper? And up here as well, in Sumio Oblast, here Russia has a 3-1 advantage. And despite this, Ukraine is pushing hard in Kendrakivka and Andrivka, and they can now threaten Oleksivka, despite being outnumbered 3-1. So it could be that Ukraine shifted manpower to the west to have successes here, and that weakens the rest of the front line. They are outnumbered, and that allows now Russia to advance in Yunakivka and Varachnia, because Ukraine might have shifted troops to focus in the west. And since Russia has a 3-1 advantage, that might give them a slightly easier opportunity to advance at Yublanivka, or at Varachnia, I should say, and Yunakivka. Anyway, that's it. And well, this is the recorded on the extremely early morning hours of the 27th. Maps will update during the day, so we'll see if maybe we'll make another video later tonight after the maps are updated. But until then, as always, go po marsh Ukraine and give them hell.